It was just, you know what it is, mate, it was good. It was a good period of time.
Yeah.
I learned a lot from it. It was something I was passionate about at the time, you know. It's more spoken about now, but it's not something that they come first out with and say. I think when I look at my younger self, I didn't gather enough thought on the situation. It was like, it was reaction.
Well, hello there and welcome to the About Small Business catch-up sessions. In this session, I'm going to be chatting again to Paul Reay Henderson of Body Blitz Gym. Paul, brilliant to see you again.
A pleasure again, Barry.
And Paul, it's been quite a year for you, hasn't it? You've since we last spoke, which is about a year ago, so over a year ago in February, I think. I do remember we had the heater on, which cameras overheating and snow outside. So it's a little bit better today. But you've had quite a journey, haven't you, over this past year with different business ventures?
I have, mate. Last time we spoke, I'd had a takeaway, which I've obviously sold on.
Yeah.
Had dipped my toe in a bit of food.
Well, you actually had two takeaways.
Yeah, I had two. I've sold them both. So I dipped my toe in. It was just, you know what it is, mate. It was good. It was a good period of time.
Yeah.
I learned a lot from it. It was something I was passionate about at the time, you know, loving food, like I stated in the last.
It was very nice as well.
It was. You had a few things.
I had a few things, yeah.
You know, but yeah, it was done and dusted. Tried and tested, and like I say, I moved on to the next adventure, you know.
So and you've got somewhere outside the northeast now, aren't you, Jim?
Yes, I opened a gym down in Norwich, mate, with Cromer in Norwich. So that was a massive move. So that was a big winter for us.
What prompted that? Because I mean, you're northeast born and bred, aren't you?
Yes.
And very much ingrained. Everyone knows you around here.
Yeah.
Why Norwich?
So I met a guy out in Mexico years ago on holiday. We ended up staying in touch, mate, you know, and he's like I say, he's one of my best friends now. He's like a brother, and you know, I always said to him, look, keep a lookout for locations down here. When I've been down there to visit him, there's no gyms anyway, you know.
Really?
It's a bit like, the way to explain it, but like obviously the place, it's a bit like sort of like the Derwents, do you know, like how you like Blanchland and everywhere's quite spread. Like the villages, you know what I mean? So
it's Norfolk area is like that.
Yes, it's very.
And the other thing which surprised it does take an annoyingly long time to get to.
It does,
because you've got to get across as well.
That's right, 6 hours, 6 hour drive. So I try and get down there once every 6 weeks just to see the boys. And so there's three of us in the partnership, me, Tom, and Andrew. But it's going really well, Brian. And I wouldn't have done another business adventure, mate. I won't still without a partner, just for the stress and the heart, the energy. Just that little bit of extra help, mate, is everything, you know. Because I can genuinely just let that place run itself, and Andrew manages it, and Tom's there as well, you know. So it's it's been a really good opening so far.
And things are going well, obviously.
Really, really well. We've got everything efficient down there, mate. The staffing's. I opened that one, mate, with everything I've learned from this one, and I've did it like properly first time, you know. And it's like minimal staff. Obviously, it's key fob access, massive opening hours. It's really, really, you know, top end gym, very modern, very nice.
How long's that been going for now?
We opened in November. End of November, so I was trying to get ready for the January. We opened earlier than what was expected. The boys cracked on, got everything installed. Opened in the November, late November. Then we had a good December through obviously sign-ups, and then January again. And every month it's just getting more and more members, you know. People are just joining every single month, more and more people, you know. So it's everything that I expected down there is sort of turned out. So it's nice when you forecast something and it goes to plan.
I think again it's like sort of the expertise that you built up from this place, and because I regularly seen on Facebook like the before and after shots that you posted, the people that you're helping, and again it's not just the physical side of things, is it? It's like sort of that positive mental attitude.
Yes, mate. We had a big conversation about this, and it's obviously something we could talk to in future. But it still blows me away, mate, sometimes how more mentally you're helping people than physically. Because obviously, everyone comes in with an aesthetic goal. They want to lose weight because they want to look better. They never come in and tell you that they want to lose. You know, they want to help the mindset. It's more spoken about now, but it's not something that they come first out with and say, I want to come in because my mental health's bad. There's still
a stigma. There's still a big stigma about it.
They're not talking, mate. And the thing is, bro, we've got a group of lads now that we run a men's small group training program, and it was after the session the other day, mate. I sat with them for about 20 minutes, and we spoke, right, and the amount of stuff I got out of them
Yeah.
It sort of took us back a bit. I got goosebumps and hearing the stories of like the reasons, and none of the reasons met what I would have guessed. None of them. If I could have guessed, I would never got one of them right. And it was just the other day, me and the coaches had a meeting, and I said, look, I want to, every 5 weeks, 6 weeks, I want to get the boys together. I want to go on a big hike. But I don't do hiking and stuff, but I would. I said, look, I want to do something that just gets us out the gym. It gets us all together. And I says, we'll go on a big hike, some mountain somewhere. We'll jump in some cold pools and have a laugh, have a chat more so. That's when I can get into the heads a little bit. And I thought, you know, Barry, that'll do more than any gym session, anything else, because it'll give them time to talk, mate. The other night in there, we only spoke for 20 minutes and I wanted to sit there for longer. You know what I mean, mate? Because I could just see that there was so much they wanted to say. And you know what I mean, mate? I could feel it, you know what I mean?
As men, we don't either, do we?
No, that's it, mate. Pride steps in, Barry, and like, you know, it's one of them things because we're just expected to just hold the fort, you know? And that's just how it is. But, you know, the stories, Barry, of rock bottom people, like to the point where they didn't want to be here anymore, you know? And I said I had goosebumps because I just thought, this is real stuff, you know. And coming here was literally everything. For me, Barry, I'm here all the time anyway. So, like, when they come and go, it's just, that's my day. Yeah. But when they come and that's all they've got that day just to get out of their own heads, that was where I thought, you know what, it's big, you know. It's big, mate.
I think we spoke about it last time as well. It's quite why we're pushing out so many pills. Yeah. And not gym memberships. Because, I mean, anytime I was actually chatting about this with a group of lads last night. Everyone chatting about, you know, their own issues with mental health and things like that. And I can honestly say, anytime I've left a gym, I can assure you, I've always left it in a better mood
100%,
than when I went in.
You never have a bad workout, do you, mate?
No,
even if
you don't.
Yeah.
You've done something, you feel some sort of sense of achievement. Maybe you work quite as good as last week. Maybe you're feeling that you maybe had a couple of pints the night before, maybe ate more than you should. Yeah. But you've done something about it, and it's something positive, it's something constructive that you've achieved with that day.
It is, and that's where that's what we said on our last podcast, didn't we? Yeah. And it's like the pills are always going to be pushed by because there's so much money, it's business. Yeah. And the thing is, the world is run by business, isn't it? Yeah. And like anywhere where we need anything, it's someone's making something out of it, you know. And that's where it's never going to go away, mate. Yeah. It's my job now is, it's pretty clear what my job is to get them off the pills. Yeah. And to get them in the gym and get them moving, mate. But like, it's difficult, mate, because you know what, it's sort of like I don't have enough time to see it, everybody, do you know what I mean? Which is, you know, mad, but I would love to be able to reach out to more people. Yeah. To like help them understand, because you just got to step in the door. They always have this persona of this being this bodybuilder who's like, you know, all about aesthetics and in shape, but it's like what I said, Barry, that's just a secondary reaction to what I do it for, you know.
Well, I mean, it's something that you're good at. It's something that you know, everyone's got their own thing. It's clearly yours, and what the podcast was about, it's about living your passions. You're doing that, and that's brilliant. Yeah. And I think just, you know, what you've actually noticed in other people that you're helping, and I think an element, to be fair, of I'm loath to use the word trend, but I think you kind of know what I mean. It's like it's just something that's coming out now. Yes. About men being able to talk, and just a group of men. Because I think, I mean, if you speak to any pub landlord, the pubs aren't necessarily, you know, serving that purpose as much as what they maybe were, because people aren't going out as much and things. So it's like, if the gym can kind of pick up that kind of slack.
Yeah, I've never looked at it that way, Barry, but you're right, because, you know, again, you sit anywhere where you can congregate a group of men. Yeah. Is, you know, eventually they're going to start letting some bits out, you know, like we all do it, you know, when you've had one of them days and you go, and you let it out a little bit, but you always feel better for having an event. Yeah. No matter what it is, whether it's something, you know, trivial or what, something about the kids or whatever, but you always feel that a little bit like, it's been said and done, it's done, put it to bed. Yeah. You know what I mean, mate?
You know, that's an interesting thing there, because when you've sort of got it off your chest, and I think part of the problem that we've got at the moment is with social media. Yes. People are putting those venting thoughts into writing. Yeah. And that's an interesting thing, because like I say, obviously my background as an English teacher, I can tell you, as soon as something goes into writing, it's permanent. Yes. Yeah. And it's always fascinating when people say, oh, you can't say anything anymore. So, well, you can say what you want. Yes, yes. But just be kind of careful about writing it down, because if you do that, it can come back like sort of, if you say something to me, it might be tongue in cheek.
Yes.
I can tell that you maybe mean it. I can tell if you've been serious, and I can tell if it's just something that's frustrating you at the time.
Yes, by body
and if that's the kind of thing that you're coming out with, that it seems unfair to me that you should be labelled, or that then sort of defines you for one moment where you've you've sort of been fed up. And I think that's an interesting point that you make there. It's like sort of that need to vent, and for a lot of people, if it's online, then it is going to offer those complications. And I think unfortunately, when we're maybe failed as teachers, is to get that across. Like, don't put something that you feel about in that 1 second. Don't commit it to paper or to the internet where it's there forever.
That's it, mate. It's obviously what do you call it when you just fly off the handle with a comment or a phrase,
which we all do.
You do, right?
I mean, I'm relatively calm, but I have my moments.
Yes, no, mate, I know, mate. I think as you get older, though, mate, you learn to suppress it a little bit, don't you? And you can gather. I think when I look at my younger self, I didn't gather enough thought on the situation. It was like it was reaction.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It was. I reacted faster than what I thought, and I think that's just part of being you, or your temperament, or your personality. But I think as we get older, and I think more so now, that's why I've always wanted to help people, Barry, but I think now, just especially, obviously I don't have a lot to do with the women's classes anymore here.
Yeah.
I stepped away from them in the team.
I'm going to say you've got some women's only classes.
Yeah. Yes, so we run that, and the girls run that. So there's a girl, obviously there's the female instructors and the males. But there's more of the female instructors run those classes, and I think it was for that, just girl on girl is just a little bit, for me, I think for that purpose, the same as run the men's classes, I wouldn't have I wouldn't put a female instructor, not for any other reason, not sexist, but it's just, I wanted to be in control of how them sessions get run from the male point of view.
I mean, I don't know as much about this as you do, but my assumption, I think, would be, a man's, you're going to know a little bit more about the male physique than you are about the female physique.
And that's why, the female do the female and the men do the men, that's why it was going to be, they sort of directed that way, mate, But it's a massive thing, and like I said to you before, mate, it's, I can't believe how deep, as it been, the gym being the last resort, this is what from their words, coming was their last resort.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I thought, well, what was it? What happened after that, Barry? And it's on, because you've seen it now, mate, and you'll see, Barry, how many men, it's too late. And I must have read 5, Barry, this year at least, of men that's took their own lives. And they've done it, mate, premeditated. It's been, they've wrote it out, they've wrote goodbyes to people. Yeah. Just, they can't live with it, Barry, you know what I mean?
It's scary and terrifying. Because it's never who you think either, is it?
No, people that you never ever think, mate. That's what shocks us the most. It's men that you go, I didn't think he was struggling. I didn't think he, that's what it is. And that's
people that maybe might be doing well in the business, but just something. I mean,
that's what I'm saying, Barry. One of my biggest. That's what I said to the boys. That's exactly what I said to them. I says, if you're not in control of your own mind, right?
Yeah.
You're not in control. Because that's before forcing yourself to do anything, make sure your upstairs is all right, and you the decision making, like just being in control, Barry, in general, like of every different little setup that you've got going on, whether it's business work, whatever you've got, but just being in control, especially upstairs, in your mind.
It's getting increasingly tough for businesses as well, isn't it? I mean, I think I saw you post earlier on about your utility bills and things. It's
crazy, Barry. So that, again, this is what's putting stress on people, because we've done loads of speaking about this after I met you last time, Barry, but with another guy, because I put a rant on, that was what you seen, I think, and it was just like I say, it was about the doubled, everything doubled, just double it overnight.
Out of nowhere.
Like doubled, mate. And so another guy reached out and he says, mate, I can't believe, I've been thinking this for months. And so he started coming over. Jack, he's got a gym in Heaton. And we had some good crack, Barry. We sat on a few podcasts, and to hear, these, again, venting, mate, ranting it out, mate, letting it out. And just hearing, I could hear in his voice, it's frustration. It is, because, but everyone always just assumes, like, well, you can afford it. That's what they think. That's the first thing they think. But, mate, and we'll all be judged for that, whatever you drive, wherever you live, Barry. It's always, well, they can afford it. It's like, it's not the point. The point is the fact that you're trying to run a service for people, Barry. And the thing is, it's like, restaurants, cafes, all that thing, you know, but that they provide a service for people. Obviously, an option that you go there.
Yep.
But if you like to go and have a nice coffee in that nice little shop and have a nice little bit of cake, and that gets took away due to cost, that's now not an option for you. And this was my point, Barry, all along. You know, these bigger franchises can afford the hits because they've got like 40 other businesses, you know, backing each other up. Barry,
That's the key thing, isn't it? But for your small business, it's like, you know, your utilities. I mean, to cover your rising utilities, how many more memberships do you need to
That's
get?
how I looked at it, Barry. That's how I looked at it. And you know how hard it is, because that's the only obviously source of income that lifts the business up.
Yeah.
Is obviously more members. It's a gym, but you know when you're looking at an extra £1,000 for electricity,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. You're like, right, well, do the maths. It's £38 for a membership. That's a lot. It's impossible to get that many members, Barry, in one month. They flip the switch and the bills go up. Then you've got to then batter yourself. You know, you're paying for marketing more. You're putting more sponsored ads on. It costs you more money to get more people. And this is where, you know, it hasn't been looked at in any great thought at all. They've just thought, you know, I know what's happened, Barry. You know, the COVID's crushed everyone.
Yep.
The government's paid out loads of money, you know, and they've due to trying to, you know, in theory, help people. It was never there to help people, but they knew they were always going to try and get it back, and this is how they're clawing it back.
Yeah.
You know, they've hit us with, you know, the business rates. I got a letter through 3 weeks ago before April, and it stated that the business rate relief was coming. What was the words? It said the relief's now going, Barry, from 75% or 65% down to 45% relief.
Yeah.
It was 75%, Barry. So they get 75% relief, and then they pulled it down to 35%. So now the relief's only 35%, right? From 75, which is a massive drop.
Yeah.
So in theory, mate, it's 40% up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, it's a big jump. So even here, mate, it was an extra 490 quid or something. And I'm like, and then on top of your electric one, and then on top of you, and it's going to, the aftermath of this probably is going to be, it's going to kill loads of businesses.
I don't think there's any question.
Without a doubt, mate. And then the employee stuff, the national insurance up 15%, you know, and then the other, you know, the minimum wage.
I've chatted to other people about that, the minimum wage alone, and then you factor that in with everything. I mean, I don't know what the alternative would have been. It's a tough one. I mean, all we can really do is hope that, you know, people like yourselves power on and
but the thing is, they know you have to, don't they? And that's the thing, mate. You know, when you've got a business, they know you've got a family. They know you've got bills. When you've got a business, they know you've got bills, and they know that you don't want to change your lifestyle. What you've got, you know, because it's simple. You're going to keep working. We're just having to do more, and that's what's happening, mate. Which it is what it is, but we're never going to change it, mate. You know, you can't change.
No, that's
what's happened. It's just a shame, but it's going to be harder for even the employees. And what I do feel sorry for, Barry, is the young ones now, especially. I know that, you know, the young ones these days, they're difficult to deal with, right? But one thing is, Barry, everyone deserves a shot, you know, and I give loads of young kids a shot here. Some of them haven't worked out, mate. Some of them have. Some of them have done well. Some of them haven't. That's just the way it is. But loads of my other business pals who have got businesses have. So in March, they made a load of people unemployed. Yeah. They made a load of people unemployed very simply, and that wasn't them, you know, doing wrong. No. Simply by all that extra, you know, the wage went up.
You can't, you don't find money out of fresh air, do you?
No, you can't, mate. And that was it. And the extra cost just wasn't enough. Yeah. You know, and they've just, they've took away so much from people. So now I think it's going to be in far worse of a state this year. I think when they do the stats on it, come late November-ish time, I think there'll be a mass amount of people unemployed, more than ever before, I think.
Yeah. It's a depressing way to look at it, but I mean, so in terms of your future, you're powering on, and you're going to make it work, whatever.
Oh yeah, I've always said it. I said in the last one, I can't feel my kids, and that's all that I'm doing it for. So it'll definitely not be a failure. I'll just find other avenues, mate, to go down.
That's spot on, mate. Well, I mean, I know you'll do it, and so thank you very much.
Thanks very much, mate. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.